Hello everyone, welcome back to McSolaar TV. Hope you're having a great day. So a few weeks ago, my trusty 2.5 years old MSI laptop started acting up. I abused that laptop a lot. I've done a ton of work with it. I traveled the world with it, and it was a pretty solid machine, arguably the best laptop that I've ever had. I don't really do that much work on the laptop, to be honest. I don't mix or master, no serious work. It's just either editing or prepping a session if I don't feel like moving from the couch, or producing. But most likely this year I'm going to be traveling more, and it might happen that I had to do some work on the road, so it was time to buy another laptop. And in this video we're going to test my new audio laptop, which is an MSI GL75 Leopard. All the specs, and then we'll open Pro Tools and we'll see how the CPU handles a bunch of tracks and plugins. Let's get to it. Before we start, please check the info box down below for my mixing courses on Pro Mix Academy, free plugins, special discounts and offers. And if you want to support the channel, but most important, if you really want to learn how to mix and master professionally, click the join button down here, become a MixBus TV member and access the already big and always growing library of in-depth, full courses, mix breakdowns, start to finish, mastering courses with all the presets and all the settings for my hardware, and a lot more. You also get mix consultations with me via Skype or email. Let's get to the video. All right, I spent about a week already with this laptop. I installed all the softwares, I installed Pro Tools, most of my plugins. That's a long road, it will take a few more days. I optimized Windows 10 for audio already. If you're interested on how to do that, I have a video. I'll put the link in the info box down below. BIOS wise, I didn't do anything because you can't really tweak it like you can tweak a desktop. So I only turned off the C states and the Intel speed technology, the step speed technology. That was it. So because I was worried that the other one was about to die like pretty soon, and I couldn't be without a laptop because I was about to travel, I bought this one pretty fast. I didn't really research so much like I usually do, you know, best specs for the best price and all that. This was a good deal. It was a little less than $1,600, to be honest. I didn't check if it was the best price or anything. I just, you know, saw the specs, the price was ballpark there, I just got it. I needed it quick. There are some things that I like about this laptop, and there are some things that I already dislike. Now, I will see in the next day if I can fix it or not, if I can get around them, but I found few problems, few things that I don't like. So first of all, let me read you the specs of this computer. This is a MSI GL75 Leopard. It has a 17.3 FDH IPS 144 Hz screen, which is pretty nice. I took some beauty shot and you can see the light reflecting on the screen, but it really does not reflect when you are in front of the screen. It's a trick between the camera phone and the screen. It is not reflective. I actually like it very much. It has a thin bezel and the quality of the screen is actually pretty good. It comes with a decent video card, even though for audio we don't care. Sometimes I do some graphic work with it, so it's always nice to have. It's a GTX 1660 Ti 6GB, and it has 32 gigabytes of DDR4 for RAM. It has 1 terabyte PCIe SSD and 1 terabyte HDD. Now, originally this model comes with the 512 SSD. They were offering as an option the upgrade to 1 terabyte, so I got that one because I found with laptops it's not really the data and the Pro Tools project, all the samples, because you can add external hard drives like I did. You can't see them, but yeah, you can. I have 2 external hard drive that I usually strap behind the screen here with 2 adhesive pouches. They sell on Amazon for like $10, so you don't have hard drives laying around when you move the laptop. The processor is an Intel Hexa-Core i7-10750H. Base frequency is 2.6, it goes up to 5, but I'm not planning on overclocking. Like I said, I don't really do real work on this one. 12 megabytes Intel Smart Cache, 12 threads. Here's the first thing you need to know about this laptop. The connections are a little bit limited, especially with USB. Now, nowadays, most laptops don't have that many USBs because with the C port, you can hook one of those multi-ports, which I actually have. I have to dig it out, where you can attach as many things as you want. Card reader, 6 USB 3.0, and so on. But stock, it comes with 1 USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C, 3 USB 3.1 Gen 1, 1 HDMI output, 1 media card reader, which is nice, 1 mini display port, RG45 connector, and 1 mic in/headphone out jack here on the side. 2 3 watts giant speaker. Okay, this is the first thing you need to know about MSI laptops. All the MSI laptops that I had, the speakers are the worst that I've ever heard on any portable device. My phone, it sounds a lot better than this. This sounds arguably even worse than my old laptop, which used to have 2 speakers here, right under the screen. This one has 2 speakers underneath, below here, below the keyboard, and it sounds absolutely awful. It sounds exactly like you would imagine if you turn a speaker, a portable speaker, upside down and you put it on the table. That's how it sounds. It's horrible. I mean, it wouldn't be so hard to do a slightly better speaker, although again, I don't use laptop speakers for anything other than, I don't know, watching a movie or, you know, watching a YouTube video, but they're awful. So that you need to know. And the other one was bad, but at least they put them here and it kind of sounded like you would expect like a small speaker to sound. This one underneath, I don't know what they mean by giant speakers. I looked at them, they are like this big. They're awful. So there's that. Integrated 720p HD webcam, which is pretty bad. You know, I just tested it for the first time today before doing this video, and it's pretty bad. At first, I couldn't get the camera working, so that's another thing. I had to reinstall drivers a couple of times. Same with the microphone. I had to reinstall the Realtek and the Nahimic drivers a couple of times because they were not working off the bat, even though I updated all the drivers from the MSI website before starting, you know, installing things. Those 2 things, it took a couple of uninstall and reinstall to get it right. I love the keyboard about this laptop. It's thin, it's quiet, it's silent. I actually like very much laptop style keyboard. In fact, my keyboard for my desktop system is a laptop style because I don't like the clicks. I want it to be silent. I like the buttons to have a short range, so I like that. What I don't like is that the caps lock light is right here next to it, okay, on this side. So when you're typing like this, you don't see it. You never know if the cap lock is on or off because usually the light is here, and it makes sense, okay, because you see them. This one, they put it here and is inside the chassis, and it's very, very, very low. It's a tiny little white light, and you can barely see it, you know, even when it's on and you look at it. So it's super tiny. When you're typing like this, and granted I have big hands, but I never know if the caps lock is on or off. This is pretty annoying, to be honest. Same thing for the num block, okay? There's no light at all. Not here, not on top, nowhere, not on the side, is nowhere to be found. Third thing that I'm not a fan about this laptop is that it's kind of noisy. Right now, it's not doing anything. So there's nothing going on, okay? It's just this text file here. And I hope you can hear it. This is the noise. So compared to the other MSI, which is again 2.5 years old, that was really, really quiet. I don't remember what processor is in that one, but this is pretty loud. And I don't know if this video card comes with a fan or it's just because an i7 processor, it just gets hot and the fans needs to be bigger, but it's more noisy than my old one, even when it's not doing anything. So if you plan on recording vocals close by this laptop, this is gonna be a problem, okay? Even this level right now, so doing nothing is gonna be a problem. Now, you can control the fans and the speed and all that, but this is the bare minimum, okay? GPU usage is at 0 and CPU usage is at 6%. So it's really not doing anything right now. And it's already noisy for my taste. I'm not running any gaming mode. I'm not running anything other than full performance, because when you use Pro Tools with it, that's gonna be the power setting that you want. For the fan speed here in the Dragon Center, you have three modes, auto, advanced, and cooler boost. If you go cooler boost, and like I said, so far I never run any program that made the cooler boost start, but when the cooler boost starts, this is the noise that it makes. And that's without. So that is a hair dryer, okay? Like I said, I don't know if now when we are opening Pro Tools and we start testing really quick, I'm not gonna do a benchmark. I'm just gonna open Pro Tools and see just a basic plugin like Deverb on every track. We'll open like 120 tracks and see where the CPU goes, and then a heavier on the CPU plugin and see where it goes. We'll see if this cooler boost starts, okay? And well, that's pretty much it for my first impressions and what I like and I don't like about it. There's one thing that so far I haven't been able to figure out, nor MSI support. I contacted MSI support about this 4 times in the past 2 days, I think, or 3. So right now you see the keyboard is all red. All the MSI laptops have a full programmable RGB keyboard that runs on the Steel series, and this is one. I have not been able to find any settings on this computer to change the color of the keyboard in any way. Not even customizing it like my old computer. You saw it. It was like going from blue to red. I can't even change a color, like a solid color, from red to blue or any other color. Let's open Pro Tools and see how it handles the audio. Okay, I just opened Pro Tools. Right now there's only one audio stereo track and my 2-bus, which has nothing. There's no plugin, no heat activated, nothing. The only other software that is running right now is the software that captured my screen flow when Pro Tools was opening. So it was loading in the splash screen. The fan went up quite a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna split this track to mono and delete everything but one mono track here, okay? And I'm gonna duplicate this, let's say for 80 times, 79. So we do a count of 80 total, okay? Less than 1 second to duplicate that. So the processor on this thing, it's pretty damn fast. And I've been seeing it while I was unzipping files and all that. But fans went up. This is the same amount of noise that it had when Pro Tools was opening. So 80 tracks, no plugins. Let me press play. Now let me check if it's clipping or doing glitches. All right, sounds good. And the fans did not go higher than this. All right, so right now I'm gonna open the display for system usage. And right now we are at absolutely nothing. 80 tracks is not playing. And if I play 80 tracks, no plugins, the CPU is at 4%, 3%, and the memory is at 8%, okay? So absolutely nothing. Let's try to activate heat on every channel. So 80 tracks and still nothing. 5%, 6% CPU, 3, 4, so absolutely nothing, okay? Let's turn this down, off actually. Let's try to open the usual old school test, which is the deverb on every channel, which it's gonna be a no hit, basically. This is what I expect. Let me put the narrow mix view. Let's put the system usage here. And first slot, I'm gonna open deverb on every channel mono. Bam, it's lightning fast. Lightning fast. Not even 1 second. So with deverb on 80 tracks, we have at the playback 17%, 20%, and wow, this is amazing. You look at the threads, the 12 threads, they are equally utilized. This is the first time I've seen anything like this on Pro Tools. Let's get rid of Deverb and let's put, let's say, FabFilter Pro Q3. Boom, lightning fast again. Impressive how fast it opens these plugins. And here's the CPU at the play with 80 tracks and FabFilter Pro Q3. Nothing, 3-4%. All right, let's add FabFilter Comp. Compressor on every channel. Boom. We went to 7% and 8%, 10%, not even 10%. A play with one EQ and one compressor. FabFilter. Let's try something a little heavier. Let's try, for example, a rouser. And it's taking a few seconds to open up. Done. 80 channels of this. And we have a 12%. So again, nothing. At play with 80 tracks. Let's try console one. Change. So this one is soft to console one. This should be pretty heavy on 80 tracks. In fact, it's taking a little longer, still fast. And remember, on every channel right now is opening the SSL 4000 default with shape section, so gate, equalizer, SSL, compressor, drive, and all the features that console one has. So a whole channel strip, I said it before, you could mix a record, effects aside, just for that. Opened 80 instances of this, and for 80 tracks this goes up to 16%. 18 now, 14, 18, which is crazy. It's a laptop. Is 80 audio tracks. Let's try something crazy. Let's open 80 instances of the Vase DS1 MK3. And again, it's pretty damn fast. As you can see, it's taking about this, actually less than opening the console one, or about the same. So I expect this to be about not even 20%. This is 80 instances of DS1 MK3. And at the playback, okay, this one, there you go. We found the perfect sweet spot. So 80 instances of DS1 MK3 bring the CPU to 100%, and look at the CPU usage. All the threads are used equally. This is the amount of noise, which is still not this. The turbo noise. So I think that one is a function that you activate because it has a hardware button for it. Pro Tools 100%, like literally everything used, it doesn't start. The audio is not glitching. So we are right there, 100%, but it's not glitching. So I think this is a pretty interesting test. The DS1 MK3, of course, is a heavy plugin because the coding behind it, and we're opening 80 instances with a laptop. This is pretty insane. I think this laptop is basically more powerful than my old desktop computer. I want to say that. I want to try just one last thing, because I noticed that for some reason Pro Tools, and I don't know, this is the new version, so I didn't test it yet, but when you load a lot of plugin on the same track, in this case, when I do mastering, I notice that despite the ridiculous amount of power that my desktop computer has, sometimes some combination of plugins hit the CPU harder than it should, just because all the plugins are like this. And I want to see if the system usage and the threads used that way are because I'm spreading equal amount of plugins on, equally for each track or not. So I'm gonna just open a classic mastering chain here, and I'm gonna go with Vase EQ1, which already puts our CPU at 20%, because again, the mastering suite is pretty heavy. A DS1 MK3 there. And I'm putting, you can see on the master. So see, this is what pisses me off about Pro Tools. This is not Softube because it does it with every other plugin. I'm gonna actually load iZotope stuff really quick. I'm gonna open a master rebalance, Tokyo Dome Lab limiter number 6, a K-Clip 3. So all pretty heavy plugins with oversampling. And then I'm gonna open iKey Multimedia Stealth limiter. And we are about, see, the threads are not utilized equally anymore. This is Pro Tools, and I absolutely hate about Pro Tools. iZotope maximizer as well, which is pretty heavy. And here we go. So you see, it's a matter, Pro Tools especially, is a matter of where do you place the plugins, okay? So sometimes you want, if you run into this problem, sometimes you're better off creating a couple of auxes and spread the plugins there. The low-end focus, all these, see, they hit the CPU pretty hard if you put them all in the same place. But see, and it starts giving the error. All right, but this is a pretty impressive test. I think everyone would be impressed with that. This is a pretty thin. I mean, it has actually a really good heating dispersion. If you look at the chassis, you know, there's all the little flanges and all that. The noise went down. But with an i7 into such a small, compact enclosure, which is a laptop, I think it's unavoidable that you need cooling system. And of course, you know, the fans are right here and you're gonna hear them. The other computer was slightly less noisy than that because the fans were smaller and also the processor wasn't that powerful at all. You saw how freaking fast this computer was on opening 80 instances of console one, which is basically could be 70% of your mix. Fab filter, Pro Q3 and C2 compressor, it was less than 1 second for 80 instances. And I mean, if they were double, it would take what, a second and a half? CPU was at like 5% with those two plugins on every track. So, I mean, it's impressive. It's absolutely impressive. Aside from the little minor things that I'm not a fan of, and the stupid caps lock light, and it's got no light in the front. Other than that, it seems like an amazing computer. For sure, one thing for sure, this is 100% an audio computer. You know, with this specs, 80 tracks with those two plugins on, hitting 5%, I'm pretty sure I could transfer sessions here from my main computer and be able to run them and actually mix and work on it. Granted that, you know, I wouldn't have my hardware, but, you know, let's assume a plugin only scenario, which doesn't happen to me, but you know, maybe if I know that I have to mix on the road, I would start it that way. There's no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt. I wasn't really up to date what was on the market, so I don't know if like right now this is pretty normal for a computer, which I assume it is. I mean, it's not like crazy expensive at the end of the day. But for audio, definitely you can do some serious work on this thing. Anyway, I think this is it for this video. This was my new laptop, GL75 Leopard from MSI, stress test and first impression. I'm happy for what I do with my laptop. I'm pretty happy. I will update you if I can change that awful red on the keyboard. I hope the video was useful. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please don't forget to leave a like, share, and click the notification bell. It helps the channel a lot. Before you go, check all the links in the info box down below. Follow MixBustTV on Instagram and Facebook too. I never say this anymore, but every time I print a mix or a master, I show like the mix down on Instagram, small clips, which is interesting. You can ask me questions there. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe and see you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grab my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type? You play the role of an angel pretty well.